What is going on, guys? I have a really big cactus that I'd like to cut for a few reasons that I'll explain a little bit later on. It's pretty big. It's a little bit bigger than that guy that's right over there. And there's going to be a couple of other things that we can learn from it as we go along. And I'm more or less just going to go for it. If it stabs me, it stabs me, and that'll be fun. So we're going to head into the greenhouse, take a look at this cactus. I'm going to show you a few things, and then we're going to propagate it. So if we look way back here in the back, this isn't going to be easy to get to. So you'll notice here that I've put some gloves on. These are just plain nitrile gloves, same thing that I've used for piercing or tattooing for years. And it is amazing how effective a nitrile glove is at stopping a puncture. Now, they're not impenetrable, and depending on how sharp the spines are on whatever cactus it is that you're working on, it will absolutely penetrate the glove. And once you feel one penetrate, you felt 20. So do be careful with these. They offer a little bit of protection, but not that much, especially not once the cut is made and there's a lot of pressure on the glove. So what I'm going to do is I actually just have a couple of pieces of scrap cardboard. And what I'm going to do with these is just wrap them around right where I want to cut. And I may even go so far as to tape this in place. Let's see. Okay, so that feels pretty good. Now I don't have my hands on any spines. Usually if it's just a smaller cactus, I mean, I'll do it without gloves. Just grab it and get over it. But something like this is pretty serious. So the fact that it's heavy and it has a lot of very sharp spines, I don't want to handle this without, a little bit of protection. So I've also got a pretty large knife here. It's got a serrated blade on it. This acts really more like a saw. I have a smaller serrated knife, and I have another, more like a chef's knife. All of them work. But for something that is very thick like this, and also has a lot of spines, this is the tool for the job. So the reason why I'm wanting to cut this is you can see that it's growing at an angle. So it's throwing itself off balance. It always wants to tip over no matter how big of a pot I put it in. And you can also see right here where it has gotten very skinny. It was growing big, growing fat, growing strong, got really, really skinny, and then it started to get big and fat and strong again. So eventually this part is going to pose a weak area once this gets tall enough. So go ahead and eliminate that. And just aesthetically speaking, I really don't like that. We call this etiolation. This is what happens when a cactus doesn't have enough light. Or, same problem, but it's not necessarily so easy as, okay, I didn't put it in a sunny area. If in the wintertime, if they're kept in a greenhouse and they're not allowed to go dormant, temperatures are not kept below a certain level, then they will continue to grow. But because the days are shorter, they don't get enough light and they start to do this. So anyway, to make a long story short, we're going to cut this. I'm going to grab it with the cardboard. Everything feels good here. And where I'm going to cut is right where the skinniness starts. And I can already see some babies, some basal pups, starting here in the base of the pot. And this will just callus over and it'll probably throw out a new arm or perhaps several. So there's no danger here. You're not going to hurt anything. And now, I'm going to take the cut. There we have it. I didn't get poked one time, except for when I was messing around, showing you guys the gloves. But there we go. It's a nice cutting. It's probably about 16 inches. And like I said, this will continue to produce. Usually when I do a big chop like this, you'll start to see a lot of babies begin to form. You can see one in the pot right there where my pinky finger is. And then this, what we'll do with this, since this is a fresh wound on the outside, we will sit this out here somewhere where there's good natural ventilation, and then this will callus over, and that'll take a few days to a week. Once it does, we can go ahead and take this cutting, plant it in soil, and propagate this cutting. Or I could sell it, or whatever I want. But I don't know what it is. Maybe a sun goddess of some kind. It might be one of the Zelly crosses. I really don't know. I've never seen it flower yet, so I'm not quite sure. But that is how I cut and propagate a large cactus cutting without having to go to the hospital.